And today, on the Florida Two-Wheel Adventure channel, I'm gonna do what I'm hoping to make into a beginner series. When I first got into biking, I was 10 years old. I grew up working on a little Honda 50cc that I had. Throughout my life, I've worked on all different kinds of vehicles, but I always maintain my own motorcycles. Today, we've got the 2021 Kawasaki KLX300 Dual Sport. What I am going to do to this is replace the air filter. I've got a twin air filter, foam air filter, and we're gonna treat it with some Bel Ray foam filter oil, and we're gonna install it. So this is really geared towards the person who doesn't know how to work on their own bikes, or maybe is thinking about doing some of their own maintenance. Because honestly, most of the things on these bikes, particularly this bike and the Honda that's just like it, the CRF 250L or 300L, they're really easy to work on. So I'll give you an overview of the process. The air filter lives right here under the seat. See a black cover with some bolts in it. And we're gonna take that off, and there will be sitting in the wide open is your air filter. Along the way, I'll also point out what a snorkel is, because you hear a lot of people talking about changing to the KDX snorkel. I've got a KDX snorkel in here, so you'll get to see that. Anyway, let me get a couple of hand tools. It's really simple. If you've never taken your seat off before, you've got a couple of bolts on one on each side of the bike back here. You take those out, the seat comes right off. These bolts are Allen heads, I think 5mm, but let me get my kit, we'll take a look. So I've got my metric set. Everything on these bikes is metric. I've got my metric set of Allen wrenches. I'm gonna start with the 5. And that's the right size, so. All right, we're just gonna take out this bolt right here and then one on the other side, identical to this one. Basic hand tools are easy to get. You can get a set of Allen wrenches like this from Harbor Freight. Okay, so the 2 bolts are out. The seat only has these 2 bolts, but up towards the front on the gas tank, there's a little tab, and you've got to slide it backwards to get it off that tab. So just give it a little jimmy. There you go. It comes right off. This was that tab I was talking about, and there's a mount on the gas tank that just slides up under. All right, so once you have the seat off, there's 4 bolt heads shining up at you. And those are gonna be what we remove to access the air filter. So this is the cover right here. And this, if you can see it, is the snorkel. This is the KDX snorkel. But all I'm using here is just a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 10mm long socket. We're just gonna take out these 4 bolts. Oh, I forgot to loosen one up. Take these 4 bolts out. You're just gonna pull it up. Come straight up off there. This is the airbox cover. Just a piece of plastic. And in it mounts this snorkel. Hello, I'm Mr. Snorkel. So the snorkel, when it's in place, air is being forced in there as you ride. Air goes in through here. It travels down and is directed into the airbox and comes out the bottom. This bottom is right up by your air filter. So that's how your engine gets the air that it needs. This is the air intake. This is an air intake boot, or a snorkel, as people commonly call it. This is the KDX snorkel. This is a better upgrade, so go with it. Do not be tempted. I used to run no snorkel. I'm not gonna bother pulling this out, but this rubber boot just pulls out of this plastic cover. It just pulls up out of this cover, and you can run with just a big hole in the cover. I don't recommend that you do that. This yellow thing that you're looking at, this is the air filter. The only thing that's keeping this in place is a little wing nut down in here. Just loosen off that wing nut, and now if you don't know what a wing nut is, I'll show you. Hold on a minute. It's a wing nut, but it's not just a nut. It's attached to a bolt shaft. So this is a wing nut. Looks like little wings. If you've never seen one before, that's why it's called that. And just pull out the air filter. Now when you pull this out, be careful, because inside of it is a plastic cage that we got to keep. Okay, we have to keep this cage because the twin air filter does not come with one. Okay, so we're going to do the preparation for the air filter now. All you're going to need to do is have yourself a new air filter. The one for the Kawasaki KLX300 is part number 151109. 151109. That says for the KLX300R. It's the same one for the KLX300 Dual Sport, or I would imagine the Supermoto. I have here a twin air foam original filter. And we're gonna need some oil filter spray. But you can use just regular filter oil that comes and you dump it into a bucket. They also have the spray version, which is what I have. I have Bel Ray filter oil. I find this works pretty well, and it's blue, so I kind of like that. So all you're gonna need is a bucket. I just do that to keep things kind of neat and clean. So you're gonna take your filter. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is when you're oiling your filter, you never want to manipulate this too hard and pull on it, or, you know, twist it and wring it. You don't want to do anything like that. Then just take it, and you're going to knead it. And then we're going to leave it into this container. Put the lid on it and let it set. I think it's got to set overnight, 12 hours, 10 hours, something like that. So you're going to see why we have this container here in a second. Kind of comes out fast and hard, and I don't want that all over everything. You can feel this starting to get like a little sticky. To tack up is what I call it. I don't know if there's a better technical term for it or not, but it tacks up. I usually just let it set overnight. You could probably get away with an hour or so, just as long as it tacks up and it's not soaking wet with oil when you put it in there. And I'm still seeing on the front that I don't really quite like the coverage. We'll give it one more little douche in here with some oil. And that's it. So we'll just take this, we'll just leave it in this container, put the lid on it, and I'll come back after it's settled up. So our air filter has been allowed to sit. I like to use this Lucas Red and Tacky. You can use any all-purpose grease. You just pick it up at the parts store. You should always look down in there, make sure you don't have any debris. If you see any contaminants, get those kind of cleaned out. Now would be a good time to do that. You don't want to put everything back together and realize you had junk in your air intake. That wouldn't make for a good day. So there is a screen down in here, so it's not like anything major is going to get into your engine, but still, I think I've got a little bit of water in mine. Okay, everything looks good in there. First things first, let's take this cage that we took out of the other air filter and put it into this one, this brass fitting. The part that you can put your hand in, it looks like a bowl. The bowl is going to go towards the back. So the hard front is going to go towards the front. And you see this little hole in the air filter, that's where our brass fitting is going to go through. So let's just start by getting the brass fitting in there. We just want to get that worked around like that so it pokes its head out. And then just gingerly, without tearing anything, do not rip your new air filter. Very gingerly work the air filter up and around the cage. Slowly working it around till it's completely in there. Perfect. So there's our cage inside. There's our brass fitting poking through. That's what that wing nut bolt's gonna go into. We've got to seal this part right here with grease. The reason we do that is because when you put this in, that grease makes a nice seal along the front. You're gonna get grease everywhere. You're gonna get grease on your mother if you're not careful. All we're looking to do here is make it so this seals up. I think we probably greased it enough. That should be good enough. So that's what we're looking at now. It's greased up. So we just take this. I'm, yes, gonna be that guy. I'm gonna make sure twin air is facing the right way, and I'm gonna slide this down in there so it's facing the right way. Don't lie to yourself. You're probably that guy too. That's okay. The world needs those guys. Let me give you a pro tip. Before you grab that ratchet or you grab your Allen wrenches to start tightening stuff up, take these dang gloves off. The wing nut and bolt, that needs to go back in there. Tighten her down. It's longer than you think. That's it. It's tight. You ain't gotta go crazy on it. Just tighten it up, finger tight. Okay, take your snorkel. Remember, the snorkel is gonna go towards the gas tank. Snorkel's on. Put your 4 bolts back in. Always, 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 if you're able to, start your bolts by hand. Never, ever, ever use an air tool or a ratchet or anything else to start your bolts in, because you can be guaranteed that they're gonna cross thread. The only thing better than Loctite is a cross-threaded bolt. So just get it in, start it a little bit, and once you got it tight or started in, tighten it down with your ratchet. Okay, so this ain't gotta be super stupid tight either. Just snug it up. Take a look at things. There's nothing happening here. So that's it. That's how you install. You're gonna put the seat cover back on, or the seat back on, and that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Your support, it means a lot. And look forward to some more videos coming. The pair valve, and I got a couple other projects in mind. I'm gonna do a sprocket and chain. And I think I got some other things that I want to do. Thanks for watching. Ride safe, ride often. Peace out.